Hey everyone, this is Long and I'm going to show y'all how to get started with React Native. Just trying to install the environment and set it up. I know that a lot of y'all have issues with it, so this is a tutorial for getting it set up on Windows. So without further ado, I'm going just to get started. The very first thing you want to do is you want to make sure you have Android Studio installed. So to get Android Studio installed is very straightforward. Just look up Android Studio and then pretty much download the latest version right here. So just download it and install it. For me, I already have it installed. So feel free to pause right here and then install Android Studio. So afterwards, assuming that you've installed Android Studio, the very next step is you want to open it. It's very likely that you'll actually come up with a different screen than what I have. This is because I already have a previous Android project set up. Um, but let me try to get to the screen y'all would have. So this is similar to what you would see. Um, so you want to go to the customize area and you want to go to the all settings. So click on all settings and then you want to, under appearance and behavior, go under that, and then you want to go to system settings, and then you want to go to the Android SDK. So there are a couple things that you must install. Um, so the SDK platforms you want to install is you want to install Android. You don't have to install Android API version 33. What you really want is you want to make sure that version 31 is installed or Android 12. Um, the very next thing that you should install is you want to make sure that the SDK Build Tools is installed, the Android emulator installed, and the Android SDK platform tools. You have to make sure, especially this one is installed. You want to pay careful attention to where it would be installed. So whenever you press install, you'll go through a setup process. Pretty much make sure to accept everything. Don't decline anything. It will mess with the licensing, which will make everything weird. If you have messed up, I would highly recommend to literally uninstall everything and just reinstall and follow through through everything step by step. Make sure you accept everything, um, just to make sure that everything is straightforward. So going back to what you need in Android Studio. So again, make sure have the Android API version 31, Android 12 installed. I happen to have Android API version 33, but you really want to have version 31 available. And again, platform tools, the emulator, and the build tools. Most important part, and you want to, again, take note of this, copy paste it somewhere. You want to remember where this is because we will be using this in a later step. So feel free to pause here and make sure to install all of these things. It should take about 15 to 30 minutes. So with that being said, that should be installed. Um, so it's really hard to know if it is properly installed, but we'll get there. Oh, before we actually exit Android Studio, I apologize. There is one more step that we have to do. We actually have to set up the emulator. So you can install the software to run the emulator, which is what we did, but we also have to make sure to set up an emulator um, on its own. So let me get to, again, the screen you would see. All right. So again, you want to I guess for y'all, I guess my screen is different. But for y'all, I would make just a random project somewhere that y'all feel is comfortable. Um, but essentially, what you want to do is you want to get to the device manager right here, the device manager. It is in this top right corner, and it looks like this. It looks like there's a phone and there's a mini Android on it, and you want to find again the device manager however you get there. right? And you want to be under the virtual tab. Um, Under the virtual tab, you want to click on create device, and then you want to choose a phone. I chose the Pixel 5, and then press next. Make sure you choose the right API version. For me, I just chose 33. You want to at least choose something above 31. This is basically the Android version that will be installed in your virtual phone. If you are on an M1 Mac, make sure that you are installing this. Make sure you're installing the ARM platform instead of x86. Okay, if you're on Windows, I'm assuming most of y'all would just install the x86 version. So only if you have an M1 Mac, you may want to consider using the ARM 64 version. But if you have Windows, use x86. Okay. So with that being said, again, I already have everything installed. Again, feel free to pause. It'll take about 15 to 30 minutes to get the emulator set up. And then afterwards, you want to make sure that all these settings are accurate. I actually ran into a strange problem recently. You may want to add more internal storage. I would highly recommend to give it at least 2 gigabytes to make sure that there's enough space for anything. Um, if by default, the default 800 megabytes is not enough and you will run into some problems. So again, highly recommend to click on show advanced settings. So show advanced settings, be in advanced settings, and then make sure to allocate adequate space. So for me, I did 2 gigabytes, right? So when you click on finish, so I'm not going to make another phone too because it'll take more space on my disk. You should see something like this, right? And then you should be good here. I would keep Android Studio open to make sure that everything is good. Um, or if you need to debug later on, but we should be done with the emulator step from there. So now we have 2 more steps to do. So the first thing we need to do is we have to set environment variables. And if you don't know what environment variables are, I would highly recommend looking at one of the onboarding videos that kind of give y'all an overview about what environment variables are. Um, but let's go adjust these things live. So let me do that again. I know that was really fast. So you want to look up environment variables. So if you're on Windows 11, it'll show up right here. But say you don't, your Windows system is something else, you would need to go to your control panel. You would want to go to user accounts, and then user accounts, and then you can click on change my environment variables here. Okay, and there are 2 environment variables that you want to work with. The first one is Android Home. The There is a third one. It's kind of optional, but I'll explain to y'all what that third one does in a bit. But the first one is the most important. So for Android Home, it is where your Android SDK is installed. It has all of the tools to run and compile Android. So we need to tell your system where that is. So to do that, we need to know where our SDK is installed in the first place. Luckily, if you remember the variable that I told y'all to keep track of, it is right here, the Android SDK location. You want to copy this and then you want to paste it into your environment variables. Oop, I think I may have lost it. Okay, right here. So you want to go in here. So what you would do is press new, right? And then you want to type out Android home in all caps. Make sure that everything is verbatim. So letter by letter, all uppercase with that underscore. And then you want to make sure that you are typing in this value, right? So Android home, just like this, okay? And this will be here, okay? Android underscore home. All right. So the very next thing that you want to do is, again, you want to change your environment variables and you want to go into path this time. You want to edit the path. Again, edit the path. You want to click on new, okay? And you want to find the platform tools inside of this folder. So this could be very confusing if you've never dug around your Windows installation and try to find where your library files are. So it would be in your users long, or it would be in your in this folder basically. It would look different for y'all. Um, for me, this is because I've installed my Android SDK in an external hard drive. But for y'all, it would probably look like C users, your username, app data, local, Android, and SDK. So we basically need to find this folder, okay? So a really good way to do this, honestly, is to copy this and then um, paste it here, right? And then you want to add platform tools, and that should do the trick. Y'all can try that. But if it doesn't work, then I would highly recommend to actually try to find it. So for me, I know exactly where it is. So for Windows users, you need to navigate it very specifically. So if it's in your C drive, for example, it's C like this, right? If it's in like an external hard drive, you would go down through E. So for y'all, what it would likely look like is it's in the C drive, and then you would go to users, and then you go to your username, and then you would find app data, and then you would go to local, and you would have to find the Android SDK from here. I don't have it installed here, so y'all won't see it there. But I'll show y'all in my E drive that it is absolutely the case that you can find where these folders are. So E, users, long, app data, local, Android, SDK, and then lastly, platform tools. You want to make sure you have platform tools, okay? I already have this over here, so that's where it would look like. Um, there there may be a situation where your app data folder will not appear because it is actually a hidden file on Windows. So what you want to do is you want to actually navigate to that folder. A very quick way to do that is if you look up run. So just run, and it's this app called run. Okay, app and run. You want to type percent app data percent, and then you want to click on your username, okay? And you would want to find the property to um, show hidden items, basically. I'm on Windows 11, so this is the way to do it on Windows 11, but on Windows 10, there is a similar option in your ribbon. I would highly recommend Googling how to do that. But if you cannot find your app data folder, that's where it would be. You could even access it again through run. So percent app data percent, and then you can try to find your Android SDK and platform tools from there, and then copy the path by double clicking this top bar and then pasting it here. Okay? So I hope that makes sense. Again, if there are any questions about that, please post it on Discord. I know that step may be confusing. I, again, highly recommend to just copy paste the Android SDK version and then put platform tools after that and see if that works. If not, again, you'll have to find where that folder actually is and then paste the location of that folder into your path. All right. So continuing on, let me explain this last variable that y'all may want to consider. So this last variable is the Android SDK home. So for me, my C drive is rather full and I would like to install my emulators on a separate hard drive. To do that, you want to make sure you have the Android SDK home set as an environment variable, and you can tell where you would like to um, install your uh, devices. I'm sure there's a lot more involved with these variables, but this is how I'm doing it right now. So essentially my Pixel 5 phone is installed there. If you accidentally installed it, following my tutorial earlier, installed it on your C drive, feel free to delete it, close out Android Studio, and then reinstall it after you've set that environment variable. Awesome. So again, I would highly recommend to catch up, make sure that all these things are installed step by step before moving to the next step, okay? So Android, everything Android related should be set up at this point. So the very next thing that we need to make sure to set up is our Java SDK. So to do this, we want to open up our terminal. For y'all would open up PowerShell. I would highly recommend PowerShell. Um, for me, I have Windows Terminal installed by default, so it looks like this. It will highly likely look different for y'all. I know whenever I was helping a lot of people, it simply looked different. Okay, so what you want to do is you want to make sure that Java is installed. So one thing you can do is Java version or Java dash v, Java dash dash v. Yes. Okay, there. That's one way to do it. Java dash version. Okay. It's showing that I'm using version 1.8, which is not the version that y'all want to use. Pretend that y'all are not seeing this. I have multiple Java versions installed at once. Um, but what y'all will see is Java 11. Okay. So what we're going to do is um, install Java SDK version 11. So the way we're going to do that is by winget. I'm assuming most of y'all have winget. So winget looks like this. Just type winget. If you do not have winget set up, it will likely want you to do a couple things before setting up. So in general, it would ask you if you agree. You want to press Y for yes. Anything that says yes or accept, so you can get winget set up. This is the easiest way to get your Java SDK set up. Okay, so winget search. So you want to type out winget search Java or not Java. Let's start with Zulu. Okay. So you want to get version 11, this. So you want to type out winget install, and then you want to copy this or type it out and paste it here, azul.zulu.11. Again, I already have it installed, so this is a step that y'all would do. Okay. If by chance you're after you install this, right, you want to exit your terminal, reopen it. So PowerShell. Ah, okay, open up your PowerShell, and then you want to type winget. Or no, you just want to do the same thing I just did, Java dash version, and then it should show here. Okay, that'll show you that your Java version has been installed, and it'll tell you which version you have. If this works, then your Java is set up. If this doesn't work, then I would also go back to winget search, and then you want to look up Adoptium. Okay, and this time I would find the JDK, not JRE, the JD as in dog, K, JDK, alright, JDK 11, and then I would do pretty much the same thing and then paste it here. But just to make sure that folks who successfully install Zulu don't repeat this step. This is only if the previous step did not work, as in Java-version did not return anything. Okay, so only do that step if Java-version didn't work anything. Winget install that, and then also winget uninstall the Zulu build. So it was whatever Zulu was. Okay. All right. So maybe that was a little bit confusing. Again, if it did not work, you want to uninstall the previous Zulu build of the JDK, and then you want to install this Tamarin.11 version. Okay, I'm assuming the Zulu version works for y'all. But we've had problems where it didn't work out. So this is that solution. If you don't have winget by chance, then you want to use Chocolatey. Um, so you want to basically open up PowerShell, and then you want to run as an administrator, and then you want to do choco install whatever you need to. So you may have to Google exactly how to do it, like Chocolatey. install Zulu, right? Oop, that's not the right one. So yeah, it'll tell you how to do it. So you want to make sure you install the right one. So let's see, Choco search Zulu. Oh, I don't have Chocolatey installed. I'm sorry, y'all. But again, I it's very likely that you would have to type out Choco install Zulu 11. Okay, make sure you have the 11. You don't want the latest version of Java to be installed on your computer. It will actually not be compatible. Okay, for me it wasn't. So just be really careful. So after you're able to type Java dash version and it shows something, the Java SDK is installed and we should be good here. I think I just covered some common errors, but you should do a check if things are actually working, right? So open up Windows PowerShell and you want to make sure that things are right. So to do that, you want to type out this command. Oop, that's not right. So get child item path env, and you should be able to see your environment variables here. If you see these things, then it's working, okay? So with that being said, let's get set up with React Native. So um, I'm trying to imagine what errors did people run into when it came to all this. Every platform is usually different. So again, the way I'm showing y'all, it may not work on your platform. You may want to make sure that your platform matches mine as much as possible. I'm using PowerShell. I'm using Windows Terminal. Um, I have winget installed. Okay, so those things will definitely help, and you can look up on how to get these things installed. But the more your system matches mine, the easier it will be to follow this. Um, it just so turns out that every system is not installed equally. That's just part of the Windows experience. Okay, so with that being said, let's go set up React Native. So you want to CD into a folder where you would like to install your projects. For me, I have most of my things installed, or most of my projects installed in my E drive. So for y'all, it would likely look like this. Actually, I'm gonna show what y'all would look like CD downloads. For me, I don't have my downloads folder here because that's not where it's installed. But y'all would CD into downloads or your documents folder or whichever folder you'd like your projects to be installed. Right? For me, it's in my E drive, so I'm gonna go there. So users long download, and then yeah, this is where I would like to start my project. Now, assuming that you've followed along with us in the JavaScript tutorial during onboarding, you should have this installed. So npx React Native init, and then give it a name, testproj2. For me, I'll just do that. So it will take a little bit of time because it has to download and get everything set up, right? So I think I covered some common errors. Um, I'm telling you right now, most of these errors have to do with something not being specifically done. So, like this version, it has to be this version. The emulator has to be set up very specifically. It has to have enough space. Um, Android Home and the path has to be exactly right. It has to be by the T. It should be where you open up your folder and you're able to navigate directly where you're supposed to be. Okay. So again, it's taking some time. This is one moment where y'all get to see me install my apps. So the final output for this should be a new folder. Anytime you do a setup like this, a folder will be created with the name that we provided in the npx install. So we want to do cd test proj2. So where did we get test proj2 is because we named our project that, right? So now that we're in test proj2, it would be useful to open it in VS Code if you would like to see the contents of that folder, right? This is what it should look like. So the next thing that you want to do to make sure that it works is npx react native run android. So even if your emulator is off, it will turn it on. It will open everything that is necessary to get things set up. So it's all automatic. It'll take a bit for the Android emulator to turn on, but um, so yeah, you'll have this. You'll have the Metro Bundler. So this is one terminal window that will be open, and you will have another, and you will have another right here. Very fun, right? So right now it is installing. It's installing our app onto our phone. You'll notice that we're not using Expo. Um, Actually, in our real app, we are trying to focus on using Expo. But for the purposes of making sure your emulator works and just to understand how React Native works kind of at a fundamental level, we're doing it this way just for y'all to see. But this will basically set up Android in general for y'all and also any kind of React Native project, not just Expo types. I know the specifics for that is kind of strange, but we're essentially making sure that your emulator can run properly. Okay, so it's almost there. So what it's doing is that this Metro bundler is taking all of the JavaScript and transforming it into Java, which will run onto the app on your phone. So that's what the Metro bundler does. And it's essentially building an APK or a app file that will be opened on top inside of our Android phone. So it'll look like this. This is the start screen. Oh, let me close the app. Let's try again. Oh, okay. So yeah, it will show like a bundling screen on top, like a bundling loader before it loads into the app. So it'll start off with that Android logo, a bundling to 100% on top, and then it'll open to this app. Okay? So this is what it would look like if everything's done properly. Okay, so once you get to this step, you're essentially done here. So close it out. The error that just happened to me is likely that, so whenever I closed it out, the connection between the server, which is this, and the phone has been disrupted. But when you close out the emulator, it tries to retain the state. So basically, the phone and the server and the app building processes are out of sync, which causes a freak out basically, but it's not too big of a deal. Like any kind of problem with technology, close it out, restart everything, and see if it works. Um, Usually that will help resolve some things, starting from a fresh slate. But um, yeah, that should get everything set up. If you would like to stop the building process, press Control C and then Y to stop the project. Close everything out, and that should cover everything. Okay? Again, if you have any questions, please ask on the Discord. Um, we want to get this rolling for y'all as soon as possible. Yeah, cool. Thanks for listening, and good luck on the setup. All right, goodbye.